What's up guys, Intelitech Studios here, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing of the Honiture H8 cordless vacuum cleaner. This particular vacuum is a 350 watt motor equipped vacuum. That sounded weird the way that I said that. Currently you can find it on Amazon right now for $150, normally $160, and it has a lot of stuff included with it. There's a lot of these machines on Amazon and just in general that are out on the market right now from a lot of these different sort of entry brands, but this particular one is a Honiture brand H8 machine, and we're going to check this out right here. So this basically has a bunch of accessories and stuff with it. It includes a few tools, a few brushes, battery, and all the usual stuff. It's basically sort of a upright stick cordless vacuum. It advertises stuff like, completely sealed HEPA systems, up to 35 minutes of runtime with, 4.5 hour chargeable battery that's detachable, and a lot of this other stuff with it. So we're going to go ahead and check this out and see if this is a good machine, especially for the price point. There's a lot of machines in this sort of 125 to 150-ish price point, a lot of these sort of cordless stick style vacuums. So there's obviously a lot of them out there, and hopefully we can see if this one is a good option. So for those wondering, this one was sent to me by Honiture. This is the first company to ever send me a product for review. This is not sponsored. I'm not being paid to say anything that I say about this machine. I haven't watched any videos on this, and this is my first impressions, and my genuine review that'll be coming soon will be on this machine based off my experience, and we're going to see if this is worthy of recommendation. So they did send a sample over for me to try out and do a review on, but no compensation was given. They simply gave me a machine in order to test out. So opening this up, it ships in a generic sort of Amazon box, which is good. I actually do like that. A lot of companies will send it in just the original box, which I don't like, because that means that if someone looks on your doorstep and they see that you got a new vacuum and they're wanting one, that may incentivize them to take it. This is in a nice outer box, which means that the contents are actually hidden and people can't just, glance on from the street and see what's sitting on your front porch. So that is definitely nice. So we can see, so the box is actually smaller than I thought it was. It's not as long, and it's also not as heavy as I would have expected, but perhaps I was expecting not really enough as far as weight. So we can see, doesn't show any information on this. Yes, so it says your order as of January 9th, 2021, and we can see the Honiture right there. So January 9th, 2021, as of now, it is currently the 13th, I believe. Let's see, is it the 13th? Yes, it is the 13th. So this did not take very long to get here. So I shouldn't say obviously, I am an Amazon Prime member, so I actually don't remember if this said if it was Amazon Prime compliant. I believe it was. Let me double check. So that way, if you do want to get this, is this Prime? It doesn't appear to be Prime, but it does appear to have very fast delivery. So again, it looks like it would ship in only a few days. So hopefully if you do order this, it should arrive very nice and quick. So again, it is in an outer box. So we can grab the machine itself and pull this out right here. And move that box out of the way. And we can see right here, well, stickers on that way, but the machine is obviously this way. Now, it's red, or at least it's supposed to be red, but this box looks like it's a bit of a faded red. So I'm not sure if it's actually this faded red or if it's like the sort of more candy red that we see on the pictures, but that's what the machine looks like. So again, we can see it's a sort of a stick design with obviously the motor up in here, so it obviously can be used as a handheld machine. So let's open this up. So no tape on the box itself, just a couple little tabs, kind of like what you would see on a Shark box, but it's a nice compact box. Got that little piece right there. Start your comfortable life with Honiture. I believe I'm pronouncing this correctly. Honiture, Honiture, I'm pretty sure. So opening this up, you can see right here, Got some cardboard protection right there. Ooh, wow, there's a lot of stuff right here. So, has a little thank you gift. Dear customer, now you received your vacuum cleaner. You can start the journey of Honiture products. We prepared 5 kinds of gift to thank you for purchasing our vacuum cleaner. If you're interested, please email us with your order number, the phone number, and a gift you chose. Oh no, I read that right. Choose through support01@honiture.com to know how to get it. So you can get a spare battery, filters, electric brush, $30 of some kind, and a 1-year warranty. Here is the user's manual. Stick vacuum user's manual, model H8. Look at that. Very simple, very nice laminated user manual. Seems like it would be nice and useful. Alright. So what is this? So here we have our battery. See that? Very weighty. Feels like it's a good quality battery. Vacuum cleaner battery. Well, that is what it is. So it's a 2600 milliamp hour 6-cell battery, just like it says on the website, so that's good. Here we have the motorized upholstery tool. So it does include a motorized tool, which is nice. So it should work better than air-powered tools. And it has this little bit that swivels like this. Alrighty, it's got the little pins right there to connect. We have a crevice tool. Everything is individually wrapped, which is nice. So you've got a nice little crevice tool right here. So that looks good. I like how everything is individually wrapped. Everything has a place. Here is the floor head. It has the soft roller pre-installed. This is the one that obviously you would want to use on floors. On hard floors, I mean. Okay. So looking at this, it has a little hose right there. It feels very similar to the hose that's on the Clear Track or the Workhorse machines. It's got these little wheels on the bottom. This soft roller is really nice. This is the first machine I've had that's had this little soft roller. So that's nice. Obviously this is designed to make it better to pick up and dust on your floors. You have a little felt strip on the front. We've got easy coin access to lock and unlock this to replace and clean off the brushes. And we have the electric floor brush right here with email support right there. So that's nice. So if you need something, info's right there. Here is the brush for the carpet. So you see pulling this out, it's got a little cam right there to lock in on both sides, little steel bearing right there. Now these bristles, okay, so this has like a really soft felt bristle right here, and then a really stiff sort of, this almost feels like a pet hair brush, like something that you would get from a dog grooming tool. So hopefully that means it should be good with pet hair. So we have that brush again that just slides right in right there. And then we have this combination tool. It looks very similar to another brand's attachment, but hopefully that means that they will be intercompatible and it'll be easy to find replacements. So we have this sort of upholstery tool right here, missing the felt strip, which is kind of odd. I find that kind of odd how, you know, this has a felt strip on it, this has a felt strip on the front of it, and yet this, when there's an actual spot for a felt strip, there isn't a felt strip there. That's interesting. It seems like that only serves to have the brush kind of slide onto it. Okay, that's that. That sliding is a little bit rough, but at least it is secure. And these brushes are actually really nice and soft. A lot of brushes in this price range tend to be really rough and not very good for dusting. This actually feels like a good quality brush. And of course it slides down. Very difficult to slide this down. I will admit that. It could just be because it's new, but it also feels like it's a little bit too harsh as far as taking it down. Although honestly, realistically, I probably wouldn't use this side. I would probably just use the brush. So I'd probably just leave it in the brush mode, but that remains to be seen. Of course, you do have the crevice tool as well for getting into corners and stuff. Alright, so we have that. Here we have this is the dock that you'd use to hook the machine up. So of course you can mount that on your wall, and then that'll allow you to hang up the machine. I'm not sure exactly which orientation this goes, but I'll figure that out. So there's that as well. And we've got some screws. We've got this little brush. I'm not sure what this little brush is for, but got that little brush right there. And you have some screws as well, presumably for mounting this little bracket right here. So that's nice. And then finally we have the machine itself. So we've got that. Oh yes, and then we also have a charger. And of course, can't forget, once we remove this box, we can see the last final thing in here is the extension wand. So you get a lot of stuff for this price point. But again, it's not too out of the ordinary. There are other machines that you can get in stores that have similar sets of accessories as this. So it definitely is competing in that price range and it appears to be very competitive. So we will get all this stuff out of this plastic and get it all lined up and see what all we have. So now that we've got this all sort of unwrapped, we can see the battery right here. And if you look on the battery, we have these little cams, these sort of little glide pieces, as well as a release button. So basically what we're going to do is we see, if you can see these little grooves right here on either side of the machine. You can see, again, this is really hard to do with one hand, but you can see if I can kind of balance this on my wrist like this, we can see these little tabs right here, if this will focus on it, just like that. And we just kind of line the battery up with those tabs. You can see right there how it's flush and it's lining up with those tabs. And then we just, again, make sure it remains flush and then just push it in until it locks into place. And now the battery on this machine is installed. We can see if this has power to it. And it does. So one thing I just noticed immediately off the bat that I absolutely love compared to something else like the Dyson V8 Animal Plus that I have is that unlike the Dyson, which on the Dyson you have to actually hold this trigger in, and that machine is a lot more expensive than this is. This fixes the #1 complaint that I've had with that Dyson, where you have to hold the trigger and then once you let go the machine stops. This does not have that problem. You press the button, it stays on. Press the button again, and it turns off. I am very much a fan of that. Now, I don't know if that's exclusive to this exact Honiture unit, but compared to my Dyson, which is the only other machine I have that's of this style, this is a fantastic addition, especially considering that this is much cheaper. So, I'll say off the bat that if this has the quality and the performance that is similar enough to my Dyson, then I will say that this is definitely worth it. Now, obviously I haven't tested this yet. As you can tell, there's no dirt in the bin, so I haven't tested that exactly yet. But first impressions are pretty good. Testing the suction on this. The suction appears to be really good quality at first. And again, not as strong as obviously like a full-sized upright, but again, for what it is, especially in this price point, it seems like a really good option. Another thing that I noticed, because whenever I pulled this out of the box, this bin was a little bit loose, because this bin pops off really easily, or at least it did. But yeah, we can see that this just turns with a simple twist. See, it's funny, I was going to complain about this bin being a little bit too easy to remove, and then now it's actually held in place very firmly. So that's kind of interesting, how initially it seemed like it was a little bit loose, but now that I've turned the machine on and kind of lined it back up, it appears to be staying in place just fine. It does wiggle a little bit, you can kind of feel just a little bit of that wiggle, but again, that's not unlike many other machines. Again, even the Dyson has a little bit of those little issues like that where it just doesn't feel 100%, but for a mechanism like this, that's totally expected. And obviously, I'm not going to run this any more than this because, as you know, every time you get a device with a new battery, you want to make sure to let that charge fully. Now, since the website said that this battery charges in about 4.5 hours, I will plug this in and we will see what percentage this battery is at and, see what it seems to ship with out of the box, at least based off my example. Generally, as you can see right here, there is a little port on the bottom where the battery plugs straight into it, right through the back. So it has just a very simple sort of... Hi, hello. So it just has a very... Do you mind? Do you want something? Do you want to use the new vacuum? Okay, so this plugs in right here. So very similar, just like a... wet nose. Very similar to like a cell phone charger. So it just kind of plugs in like that. And very firm connection. Doesn't feel like it's loose or anything. It feels like it's solid in there. Then it has a very thin sort of wire that appears to be plenty long. And of course a 2-prong power adapter. Again, this looks very much like a cell phone charger. But if it powers this thing, then who cares what it looks like. So that is that. So again, since you just got this and you just got this new, you want to make sure that you let this thing charge up all the way. But like I said, we will plug it in real quick and just see what battery this percentage is at. I said that wrong, but you get the point. So I just plugged in the H8 and we can see that the first little LED is completely lit up. We can see there are 3 LEDs right here, and you can see it climbs up there to show you that it is in fact charging. And as we can see, it's at approximately 25%. This has no digital screen or anything to tell you the exact percentage, but it's enough to give you a general idea of what the battery percentage is at. So it gets the job done. As we can see, it is at somewhere between 25 and 50%, which is a very good percentage for it to ship out of the box. So we're going to go ahead and let this fully charge because you want to make sure that you fully charge this thing before you start using it, so that way you can properly calibrate the battery from the factory. So again, once you've had this set up, once you get this out of the box, unwrap the charger, plug it in, and let it sit until it is fully charged. And this has all these LED lights illuminated to show that it is fully charged. So we can see the cord is stretched out right here. It's a decent length. You can see it's plugged in right there. So if I wanted to have this like all the way into this corner, that would work too. So we can see that right there. Another little point that I just noticed is that this will actually not turn on while it is plugged in. I'm not sure if that's like a safety measure, but whenever I press the power button, we can see it does not turn on until we actually unplug the machine. Now it can turn on. And as you can also note, the exhaust is on this side. Actually, it's on both of the sides. So it does exhaust on the side, not at the back or the front. So if you're vacuuming very close to a floor, perhaps this could blow some dirt away, but we will see with testing. We can also see there's a little setting right here to actually change. I'm assuming that's between a lower and a higher mode. So I'm assuming if I push this... Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's another thing. This has 2 modes, and it actually ships on the low mode by default, which makes sense because most of the time you'll only need the lower mode. At least usually that's the case with these cordless machines. But that is one thing, is that I did notice that compared to my Dyson, I thought that the suction was a little bit weaker than the Dyson's until I turned it onto the high mode and realized that the suction is pretty much identical to, again, a much more expensive example of a machine with this sort of design and style. But again, once we plug this in, we can actually do a thorough test on this. So again, we're going to let this charge up and we'll do a full review on this at a later date. I'm going to be using this as my main cordless vacuum because the only other cordless vacuum I have at this house right now is that Hoover Lynx, which obviously is a much different style of cordless vacuum. My Dyson is at my other house because my dad's currently using it. So this is the only machine that I'll be using. So it'll be a very real-world test. I'll be using this every day, swapping out the brush rollers as well as testing out the motorized brush that this comes with to see how well that works on couches and various other things. And see how well it works compared to full-size machines that are actually corded and have air-driven turbo brushes. Since I don't have any machines right now currently that are upright and have motor-driven brushes for the turbo attachment, but again, we'll still test it with other machines and see how good this performs for a cordless machine. So again, it looks to be so far very promising. The build quality so far feels relatively sturdy. It feels like it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like it's a toy. I will admit, it does kind of look like a toy, but it does not feel like a toy, and so far it works very, very well. But again, I haven't actually picked up anything yet, so that'll be in the later video. For now, this is the unboxing and just the sort of basic overview of the machine. If you have any questions about this Honiture H8, let me know in the comments below, and I can answer those questions in the full review of this machine. So the full review will show up in about a week, give or take, depending on how long I've used this, once I've had enough time to gather my thoughts and see how well this ranks and what I like and dislike about the machine. So far, my first impressions of this are surprisingly positive. So, anyway guys, this is Intelitech Studios signing out. If you guys have the Honiture H8, let me know what your experience is in the comments below, and let me know anything that you want me to cover in the full review of this machine, which again will be coming very soon. And anyways, this is Intelitech Studios signing out with yet another video. See you guys in the next video. Peace!